Alright, so last Thanksgiving I talked about Blood Rage, and the Thanksgiving before that I did both of the Killer Turkey Thanksgiving movies. And I guess this year I'll be discussing Home Sweet Home, unfortunately, because there's not many Thanksgiving horror movies out there, especially when it comes to slashers. You just got Blood Rage, and then you got this. And this movie is absolute trash. Oh my god, it's horrible. It's only on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. I don't recommend watching it, but it's on YouTube in a very poor, dark transfer where you can't see shit almost half the time. And that's how I watched it on 1.25 speed at work because I wasn't going to waste my time at home watching this garbage. I watched it on breaks at work. I'm not even going to do a traditional review of this movie where I go over the pros and cons, final thoughts, blah, blah, blah. This is just going to be a spoiler discussion. Let's just go through the movie. So, this movie opens up with the killer escaped from the mental, he's a mental patient. He killed his family. He escapes, and he is a PCP addict. And there's a car parked under like a freeway with a guy alone drinking beer by himself. And he's like offering the killer a beer. Hey, you want a beer? And then the killer grabs him, pulls him out of his car, and fucks him up. It like strangles him or stabs him or something. And he starts to inject himself with PCP under his tongue. And we see that he has a tattoo of Home Sweet Home, the title of the movie, on his hand. Now, I would think that's the title card, but it's not. That should have been a title card. And then how he got PCP, he just escaped the asylum. He already has like a whole syringe full of PCP. Do they have that at the hospital? And he's wearing normal clothes, so I guess he quickly stole clothes. And this guy is like a steroid taking buff motherfucker. This guy is huge. And they say he weighs like 220 pounds. He looks like he weighs 300 pounds of just solid muscle. And this guy, so he steals the station wagon, very Halloween. And then he's driving down the road in LA. It's Thanksgiving, so there's lots of cars, lots of traffic. He runs over a old woman going, in the crosswalk. He runs over this poor old lady, blood all over the windshield, and he drives for miles with blood all over the windshield. He never uses the wipers. He's just laughing, which is his gimmick in the movie, is his laugh. It's like Evil Laugh, that movie, except worse. His laugh in this movie is insufferable. I can't stand it. He's just constantly laughing every time he's on screen, or he's doing like a very heavy breathing, like he just ran a mile and he's out of breath, like he's breathing very heavy. And so yeah, I can't stand the fucking killer in this movie. But they should have used a dummy. That would have been fun if he ran over the granny and they actually they show it and the dummy like hits the windshield. But instead they shot it in this horrible way where it's like stop motion, slow mo, or whatever it's called. Like it's like slow motion, but not really. It's just like a still image, and it keeps like cutting closer and closer to the person's face, and then hard cut, like it's just there's blood on his windshield. So then we meet all our characters, and a couple of them are kind of witty and have some interesting traits to them. Like one of them is a mime looking dude, or he's like a Kiss fan. He looks like Gene Simmons. He's got black and white makeup on his face, and his name is Mistake. That's what they keep calling him. I don't think he has a real name. They just keep he's the brother of somebody, and these characters are just poorly established. I don't know who the fuck is who. Like there's a few couples there, but who knows who? I don't really know. I mean, there's like a Latina girl. I'm assuming this is the first time they're all meeting her. Like she's just a date this guy's bringing, and she can't speak a single word of English, but she seems to be able to understand it. But she's just talking in Spanish the whole film, and she's playing on the guitar at one point, just jamming, no chords. She doesn't know how to play. She's like playing like a 4-year-old, and she's singing terribly. So she's just fucking annoying. And what I like about the mime character, not really a mime because he talks, the Kiss character, Mistake, what I like about him is that he's just constantly cock blocking people with his electric guitar, and he has like an amp as a backpack. So he's just walking around with this electric guitar and an amp plugged into I don't know how. Like it's not plugged in or anything, but he's playing the guitar, he's cock blocking people, and he like pisses this girl off so much that she's like, I'm going to kill myself. That's her reaction. Thought that was a bit extreme. she's like, I'm just gonna kill myself because Mistake is annoying, that annoying. And I thought it was really weird that there's a couple trying to like fuck in their car outside of their relative's house or their friend's house or whoever the fuck it is. Like they just got there for Thanksgiving dinner, but they're like, let's have sex in our car in the middle of the day with all our friends around who could, catch us. Like, who fucks in their car in the middle of the day during Thanksgiving? This line of dialogue really cracked me up. So, the guy who brought the Spanish date, he says, don't give her anything to drink. She doesn't want to drink anything because she hates using the restroom. So, that just cracked me up. And then, so the owner of the house, he leaves to go get gas or something. He has a shitty car, but he has a pretty big place, very secluded, and isolated out there in the Los Angeles hills. So he seems like he has a lot of money, but every car in this movie is a piece of shit that keeps breaking down. His car's breaking down, the other chick's car is breaking down. Everybody has conveniently just shitty cars where the batteries break. It's not like the killer's causing the cars to break down. The cars are just breaking down on their own. And so he's going, the owner of the house, he's leaving his own Thanksgiving dinner to go get gas, I guess, and he sees the station wagon in his long fucking driveway. He has one of those driveways that's like in the woods, it seems, and it's just going for a mile. It's like a dirt driveway, and he sees this car, doesn't know whose car it is, and then he just goes up to the car, sees there's no one around, and starts siphoning the gas out of the car to steal it, and then goes to steal the battery once he realizes that his battery is starting to go out. So he's like, I'm going to steal gas, I'm going to steal the battery. So it's like, good riddance, fucker. I'm glad he gets killed. As he's like trying to steal the battery, the killer jumps on the hood of the car and I guess crushes his skull, I read. But it looked like he crushed his back. I don't understand how that would kill him. It would maybe break a couple of ribs or fuck your spinal cord up, depending on how hard he crushed him with it. But it looked like it hit his back, but I read it was on his head. So I guess if it crushed his skull, it makes sense that he died from that. But that was just ridiculous, him stealing gas and a battery from a car abandoned on his driveway. Another line that just kind of made me laugh was, because it was just kind of sexist, this guy doesn't know that there's a killer around, but the one dude's leaving. He's like, I'll stay behind with the girls because there needs to be a man around here. It's like, to protect them. Like, they can't protect themselves. They're women. So it's like, okay, that's a weird line. And then the one chick who's, I guess, dating the owner of this house, she leaves with this other girl to go get wine, but they don't know how to get back home to this house. Like, it's your boyfriend's house. How long have you been dating? I guess not long if you don't know how to fucking get there. But if you don't know how to get back, why did you leave in the first place without directions in case you got lost? Or how about you leave with the guy who would know how to get back to his own house? Leave with somebody who knows how to get back, you fucking moron. And these two girls that get pulled over by these two cops, and because they're beautiful women, they get let off the hook. They don't get a ticket. How easy is it to be a woman? You just, oh, look, my tits, and don't give me a ticket. And then when the cop, leaves with the other one, the one cop says, like, man, did you see that chick's bazoons? I think that's what he called it, or bazoons. Yeah, bazoons. That's what he said. Just, wow, who talks like that? The dialogue in this movie is so laughably bad. Another thing that's bad about the movie is the cinematography. I can't see a fucking thing when they're outside at night. I'm like, I hear someone dying, but I don't see who's dying. I can't see. Like, there's like long moments where it's just like you're staring at a black screen. I'm watching my phone and I have the brightness at like 100%. It's like I'm just seeing a black screen, and then slowly you start to make out like a shirt. You're like, is that a t-shirt? I think I see a t-shirt. Like, it's that bad. So then the two girls who went out for wine, they get killed. The one chick, the killer pops up, grabs her, throws her over the car hood. She slides off, hits like a rock on the ground, so hits her head, busts her head open, so she's dead. And then the other chick, she runs off into the woods, and then at some point she decides to stop, turn around, look at the killer, and start screaming and not moving. And then she like trips over herself, falls on her ass, and then gets stabbed a bunch. So then the two most interesting characters in the movie get killed back to back. Mistake and the Latina girl. He has the girl at gunpoint, and Mistake is like, No, please don't kill her. Take me. I'll play my guitar for you. I'll do anything. I'll sing. That's the dialogue, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like it's goofy in moments, but then it's like legit trying to be suspenseful in moments. Weirdly enough, like it doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. It's a terrible movie. So when he's electrocuting a Mistake, his guitar starts to glow. The strings glow and they start to like snap one by one. It's like okay. I'm not sure what he's electrocuting him with because I can't see shit. It looked like he has some kind of cord that it was like some electrical cord, I guess. I couldn't see what it was he had in his hand, but he's electrocuting him. So then Scott, I don't know who he is to this dead girl, but I guess he's a stranger because when he finds this dead girl who was at his Thanksgiving dinner party, he's like, his reaction, his tone of voice, like it's complete deadpan. No emotion. Just like, my God, what's going on around here? And it almost sounded like they added that in later. It sounded like it was like ADR. Like he didn't say it on set. It's like, we need to throw a line in here. Oh God, what's going on around here? That's his reaction to seeing a dead woman who he just met that day, I guess, because he doesn't seem to really be all that upset about her being dead. I don't know. Who knows who around here? I guess this isn't his friend. And then when he tells his girlfriend about it, she immediately is like, it's a mistake. It's Mistake had to have done it. And then she's more concerned about herself. She's very selfish. She's like, my God, like, what does she say? I wrote it down. She's like, my God, if he's gone off the deep end, he's going to go after us. She just cares about herself and her boyfriend, not anybody else. Not like, oh my God, we need to go get the police and we need to find the others and see if they're okay. Let's protect Angel. There's a little kid in the house the whole time. I don't know whose kid this is. It's one of them. I don't think it's hers, but what do they do when they realize that there's a killer on the loose? They just keep leaving her alone. But then they all regroup together. They're in the living room with the fireplace. The power's cut off. So they just have the fireplace and a flashlight. But for some reason, the boyfriend needs to separate from the group now to go look for candles. I gotta go look for candles. How about you just go look for help or something instead of candles that you don't fucking need because you have a flashlight and they're in the living room with a fireplace that's illuminating the entire room. So candles are the last thing you need right now. And it's moments like this where the movie starts to try to build suspense. He's walking around the house for a while, and you got the creepy music playing, and it's like, do I really give a shit about this guy? Like, you're so disconnected from the film by this point that you don't give a fuck. There's no tension, there's no suspense in this movie, but it's like it keeps going back and forth between suspenseful Halloween knockoff during Thanksgiving instead, and then it goes back into corny territory when the fucking killer shows his face and he's laughing like an idiot. And it's so typical of this little kid to need to use the restroom twice within like a half hour. She just fucking used the restroom. Now she's like, oh, I gotta go again. I would be like, piss in your pants, sweetie. All right, you just fucking went. All right, I heard you flush. What did you do? Fake it? Well, you deserve to have piss-soaked pants now because you lied to me earlier. It's like, fuck you, kid. We're not leaving this room. But then the killer charges into the room, tackles the guy, and what does the girl do? She does what most people do in these slasher movies. They stab the person where it's not going to kill them. She's right behind the guy. She could have easily just stabbed him right in the back of the head, but she stabs him in the midsection, like right in the middle of his back, lower back, barely, barely. When you see the knife, it's like an inch in. It's like sticking way out. So she barely hit him with that knife, and he's walking around the rest of the movie with that knife in his back. He never takes it out. He just leaves it in there like he left the blood on the car earlier. And one decent kill in this movie is just a decent moment, really, in this shit fest is when he actually like charges out. He like breaks through the window, grabs the guy, pulls him through the broken window, and like grabs a shard of glass and slits his throat. Like, holy shit, that would be a cool moment in a better movie. So Jennifer, she runs into a room and hides, and then she just passes out from fear, and then wakes up the next morning alive. I guess the killer couldn't find her. Like, she's been passed out in the room for hours and this killer could not find her? Really? That's complete bullshit. And the little girl escaped, so she got the cops. And the cops arrive and they only refer to each other as partner. Okay, partner, I'm gonna go over here, partner. Okay, partner, be careful, partner. It's like Big John and Little John in Halloween Kills. Okay, Big John, I'm gonna go upstairs and look for Michael Myers. Okay, Little John, be careful. Big John, okay, Little John. Like, no one calls themselves that. So, anyways, yeah, these cops pull up. The killer's still walking around with a knife in his back the next morning. He's attacking the final girl, and the cops pull up. They see the guy, and before they shoot him, the one cop says to the partner, "Hey, partner," is like, "Is that thing loaded?" And then the other guy goes, "I hope so." It's like, is that thing loaded? You should know. That thing should always be loaded. A. And B, fucking check. Like, we don't even see him check. Like, is it loaded? Well, let me check. It would take 1 second. Just fucking check to see if your pistol's loaded, you idiot. But then they blast the killer away, and then we get the typical ending that you get in 1,000 horror movies like this, slashers, where the killer's eyes open at the very end. Very maniac, very House on Sorority Row, very every fucking horror movie like this. That, I can't stand it. It's such a trope. It's so lazy. It's just for in case we can make a sequel. Look, he's still alive. Like, this movie was never gonna get a sequel, so fuck doing that ending. So that's the end of the movie. Final thoughts. This movie's dog shit. No nudity, no gore, just lame ass kills, an annoying killer, and the music was somewhat decent for the most part until the final chase, which was a horrible final chase, very short lived, very lackluster, and a final girl who I could give a shit less about. It's just incredibly boring, and the killer's laugh, insufferable, couldn't stand it. I mean, the guy who plays the killer actually went on to do a few other things, and he hates the fact that he's in this movie, and I understand. And the little girl who plays Angel, she actually was in Hocus Pocus later on. That was interesting. And the guy who wrote this movie did sound shit for Evil Dead 2. He was in the sound department, and that's really all else he did. He never wrote anything else, and the person who directed this was a woman who never directed anything else also. So nobody did much after this movie because it's terrible. So you can never find work again with this movie in your, resume. Like, oh, what you do? I did Home Sweet Home. Check it out. Like, hire me, please. So yeah, like I said, the movie's tone, it's confusing. It doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. There should have been more cheesy dialogue and characters and moments throughout, not just the opening 5 minutes with the PCP and the fucking injecting it underneath the tongue, running over a granny, not wiping the blood off. Like, there was goofy shit happening in the first half with Mistake and, just the killer being how he is. But then the second half, it started to get more and more serious, it seemed, trying to be suspenseful in moments. And it just didn't have a whole lot of goofy dialogue that I would have liked. It should have been way more cheesier for me to actually enjoy this movie. But it's just so poorly acted, poorly lit, poorly shot, and just lame as fuck. So fuck this movie. It's terrible. So those are my thoughts on Home Sweet Home. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's just an opinion. You don't need to get upset about it.